So today we're delving into a case where there's some explosive and intense courtroom drama. It's going to be involving a dispute between a tenant who it appears hadn't paid rent to a hotel establishment for multiple months, and her justification, as well as really just her reason for not paying, might surprise some of y'all. But without further ado, let's just hop right into the case. Also, if you could like the video, it helps more than you know. Only takes a second, helps more than you know, but let's go ahead and hop right into it.
I typed
Swear or affirm to tell the truth under penalty and perjury of the law?
yes.
All right. Counsel, what are the terms?
I typed them up, Your Honor. Would you like to share the screen with you?
Well, no, you can just tell me the terms so I can make sure I get her under oath confirming that she understands the terms.
Okay, Your Honor. We've agreed that a writ of possession shall issue upon written affidavit that defendant and all other occupants have failed to vacate the premises on October 14th, 2025 by 3 p.m. The parties agree the defendant owes $5,382.42 for rent, which is calculated through October 14th. The parties also agree the defendant owes court costs the amount of $65.20. The plaintiff has agreed not to pursue the total of rent owed and the court costs so long as defendant and all other occupants vacate by October 14th by 3 p.m. If the defendant fails to vacate, the writ of possession will issue in stanter upon affidavit, and plaintiff shall be entitled to a judgment in fife in the above amount in the reference total. The defendant's counterclaim is dismissed with prejudice.
Wow.
And essentially, the consent resolves all matters between the parties.
Okay.
Did y'all just hear what she said? She's been living in that hotel for however many months she's been living, to where she owes $5,000, and they're willing to wipe away and not even try to go after any of the court fees as well as the rent that she should have paid. They're willing to let that literally go. That's crazy.
What's that amount again? I did 5,300 what?
The total including court costs? Do you want that total or the total of rent?
Well, since this is a consent, I want the total amount.
5,000.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. $5,447.62.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
I don't know if you heard him say, since this is a consent, he wants the full amount. Looks like they're trying to establish a consent agreement, which that's basically what the woman was saying. We just want possession. She doesn't have to pay us any other rent she owes. She doesn't have to pay us for the court fees. We just want possession. So now it's up to them to come to an agreement. And if they come to an agreement, then that will be the new order. And that holds weight the same as if the judge would have came up with his own order.
Ms. Evans, you've entered a consent agreement where there'll be a writ of possession on October 14th, 2025 at 3 p.m. If you were to vacate on or before that date, there'll be no money judgment. If you are to fail to vacate on or before October 14th, 2025 by 3 p.m., you will have a money judgment, which is $5,447.62, which includes court costs. Furthermore, you are dismissing your counterclaims. These are terms that you've agreed to.
Yes, I don't know what with prejudice means.
That just means you can't bring them again. You're not going to be able to re-pursue them at another time. Or to pursue them another time.
Man, it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Is that a yes?
What was that? What was hard about that?
I really don't understand. Because there were some things that were done that weren't addressed, you know.
What?
So we didn't talk about my counterclaim being dismissed. We talked about
a total walkaway, Your Honor.
Oh, hell no.
A complete walkaway. And the fact that my clients agree not to pursue money owed to give her an opportunity to get back on her feet without a judgment or a writ of possession on her record.
I understand, counsel. It's just
Ms. Evans has to
understand whether or not she wants to enter into that. It's not about me. I understand fully. So, Ms. Evans, just so you understand, your counterclaims would be dismissed with prejudice. So you can bring them again. But counsel essentially is saying there's the offset benefit of you not having a money judgment. If you vacate by 3 p.m. by 10:40.
She's saying that now, but when we were talking, she didn't say that I had to dismiss my counterclaim.
Okay. Well, I think that's what.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why would you keep a counterclaim?
We had a conversation about honor, and she read the document. I didn't just present the document to the court.
Listen, it happens all the time. I'm not saying there's impropriety on either side. I'm just saying she's having it. So let me ask you, Ms. Evans.
She's just being difficult for no reason. What more can you literally want? You've been staying in this hotel for almost 90 days, and they're not even making you pay any money back. They're not making you pay for court fees. They're just saying you have to leave now. They just want possession. You can't stay any longer for free. And she's like, well, I want all that, but then I also want to be able to pursue something else over here. How unfair can you be? They're really getting the ish end of the stick out of that deal, and you still want more.
I don't know anything about the case. I don't know if your counterclaims are going to have a great value or not. I don't know. These seem to be the terms that you had at least said you were going to enter into, and now you're not so sure. That's totally fine. I just want to make sure that you understand that, if I don't know the value of your counterclaims, so I'm not going to argue for either or. I'm just saying these are the terms that were presented.
What's the
These are the
counterclaim?
terms that I thought that you agreed to based upon coming here. But if not, that's fine. So, you and counsel can go back and have another discussion to maybe get some clarity. But I'm not on your side and I'm not on her side. So I'm not going to tell you everything because that would be my personal opinion. So you got to make a decision.
Just give her your personal opinion. The personal opinion is, ma'am, just take the deal. It don't get no better than this. Take it for it.
I need to speak with her again.
Okay, maybe I'm going to break out room real quick at counsel just so you can get some clarity here.
Oh my goodness.
If that's what y'all want to do, otherwise not.
He's like, are you crazy?
Counsel, are you willing to go back to the breakout room to have a further discussion or not?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Well, I will try to see you back if you guys can rejoin the breakout room.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Just being difficult and wasting everybody's time. The counsel's like, this should have been easy. Like, now I have to go sit here and waste some more time and explain something that was pretty cut and dry. I'm not even familiar with the case, and just them explaining it, I understand what's going on. This is crazy.
All right. You're already under oath. Do we have an agreement on the terms? We got a new agreement. What's going on?
No, we don't, Your Honor, but I'd like to take a preliminary matter up with the court.
Really?
To have her answer stricken as she filed a late answer, Your Honor. We tried to work with her. She was supposed to file an answer September 26th. She ended up filing it September 29th.
All right. Well, I will tell you, it's on my calendar. I'll take a look. That means somebody determined that it was a basis justification to put it on and not do the default. So hold tight.
Thank you.
Let me take a look. So first, let me confirm, is this a written lease or?
Your Honor, this is an extended stay America where she's at in a hotel.
Okay. And I guess this is weekly or monthly rent?
They do it per day because the rate changes. When they filed it, they did it per month, but the rate does change and the rate decreased over the course of her stay.
Okay. So how much is the rate?
The rate currently right now, Your Honor, is, well, currently it's $69.99, but when they based her calculations, when she stopped paying, it was $57.99.
Okay. All right. Okay. And last time you guys got any payment from Ms. Evans?
July 17th, 2025.
Okay. And so that's the last time. And so you're essentially looking from the 17th through if I were to give her rid of possession, the 14th of October.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
May I say something, Your Honor?
You will. You just have to be patient.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
Just be patient. All right. Anything else beyond the past due rent?
Court costs and then addressing her counterclaim.
Okay.
I didn't hear, Your Honor, you came back on and
I did. Well, as far as I didn't see anything as far as a late answer being identified. Hold on.
Well, when I looked at the affidavit of service, it had marked down there the date she was served and written in there that she was required to answer on September 26th.
And so, yeah, I'm not going to do a default by virtue of her being scheduled for a hearing. Obviously, there must have been miscommunication. If it was a default, we would have already granted it. And if someone has put it down for a calendar, that means myself, one of my colleagues have considered it and thought it appropriate to put it down. But with that being said, yeah, I'm just trying to understand that the balance. So I'll look at that. So I know it changes. So I just can't do $57.99.
I can give you the numbers for
what's your allegation as far as the amount that's totaled past due?
Okay, the balance as the end of July. Is that okay, Your Honor, to give you it that
No,
way?
I want how much you claim that she needs to pay through the 14th of October.
Everything.
Because I mean the rates constantly change. I mean, if I put in
the rates constantly changing, so it's the total would be $6,147.42.
More than what she thought.
Okay. All right, that's what you're looking for.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so let me talk to Miss Evans. So Miss Evans, I just want to confirm you've been in this extended stay. Is that true?
The judge is like, see, this was supposed to be one of my easier cases. This was supposed to be a quick case, and then this was going to give me a little of my time back. And now this woman got me doing the full-blown trial. So he's like, nah, give me all the numbers. Just give me the real numbers. I heard the 5,000, whatever fluctuating. What should it be? Oh, excuse me, 6,000. Yeah, we gonna hit her over the head with the whole 6,000. She want to really do this. Let's do this. Boy, I tell you, man, when being difficult goes wrong, I think that's what this is about to be.
Yes,
And when did you first start occupying the extended stay?
October 2024.
Okay. And how much is either I guess your daily rate to your knowledge or weekly rate?
The daily rate was 47 and then it went to 57.
Okay, so you're saying it was 47. When did it turn into 57?
When they told me I had to do a second reservation, I think it was March 27th. And then in June, they started adding the late fees, which took it up to like $70 or whatever it is. So, I had a set, and I put this in the complaint, the confirmation that had a set amount, but then they changed it.
Okay. So I saw your answer. And so what specifically are you at? What are your allegations or as far as your defenses or counterclaims are concerned?
Well, I didn't stop paying. They stopped accepting my payments when I basically kept
When
telling
you
them that
already
they couldn't
owed.
just charge my card when they wanted to because I was paying with a different card. They said a card had to be on there on my account at all times. The Apple Pay could not be put on the account.
Because it's not a
So,
credit card, right?
right. So I was paying through the Apple Pay. And one of the desk clerks, well, actually two different ones, if I didn't get there by the time they left, they would go ahead and make a charge on their card. And I told them not to do that. And it put my account in the rears. And I have that in my complaint also. And I believe it was July 7th when I told them, look, you all cannot, I have to take that card off if you're going to keep charging it. And they said it would not be charged again. And then on July 13th, another charge was made, even though I was paying with my Apple Pay. And so when I told them that I, had this problem, the bank was going to close my account, and I wanted to know if they could take off the late fees, because they're causing me issues with my bank account, and they wouldn't do that. And then a few days later, that's when they said, when I came to make another payment, they said they weren't accepting my payments anymore. $1,800.
Well, it sounds like there were some late fees. I'm trying to hear her out. It sounded somewhat like it could happen. But it just sounds, I mean, you have to have a credit card on file whenever you do hotel rooms. That's just the industry standard. Now, the thing is, you were getting late fees. Were you being late? Because now it's like you want them to wipe away the late fees. No, you owe the late fees. So what it sounds like happened is she had been late for a while, and then eventually they just decided they're going to go ahead and start the eviction process. And once the eviction process is started, then they can no longer take your payment. So if you're trying to like rob Peter to pay Paul and be paying your stuff late, and then they go ahead and start some proceedings because they don't know what you're doing, and they're not going to take the risk and allow it to continue to accumulate. So if that's what you're talking about, then yeah, once the proceedings start, they cannot accept your payment, because if they accept your payment, that null and voids the court proceedings, and they'd have to start filing all over again.
And late fees was added, and the attorney said she wasn't seeing anything with late fees. So that's all of that was in my counter, because there were services they weren't providing, but then they were charging me all these late fees, and the late fees were charged on not the balance. So if you didn't pay 7 days in advance, then you got charged $200 in late fees.
Okay.
And so that's where,
I mean, this isn't a normal lease. So, it's not a normal situation where, you've got a normal lease situation. I mean, obviously, if it extends over a year's worth of time, it kind of converts into a lease, but you don't have the same kind of initial terms. Obviously, you still have you have the same protections as being a tenant. I guess what you're saying is, what are you saying? You overpaid? What specific damage are you looking for?
Yeah,
they're not looking
that's
for
what I
any
want to
late fees
know.
at this juncture. They're looking for the rate. Now, let me just see what that
Oh,
rate
there
would
you
be.
go.
I mean, they're saying $57.99.
Huh.
You're just saying you were charged late fees that you either say were not justified, or charged late fees that you felt were, and charged you money that you then incurred.
When we watch these cases, the tenants always make things more complex than what it actually is. And they always add a variable that has nothing to do with the price of tea in China. She was bringing all that up, and I'm sitting here trying to turn my wheels and understand. And it comes to find out it's irrelevant information for what we're even here for.
Cost because they charged it from your account.
the late fees I feel like are excessive, but I don't understand why they were charging my
We're not
card
even here for
when I
that.
was paying with Apple Pay. I don't understand why they were
Were you
doing
called
that.
up at the time? I'm just curious.
Yes, that's what I was
No,
curious about.
no. What the
Exactly.
agreement was, I would come in and I would pay whenever I worked Instacart, I would come in and pay, and then pay a lump sum on Thursdays.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure why that why the additional charges were made. I don't know. And when I inquired, I didn't get an answer. And that was part of the counterclaim, because I need to get my account back in good standing. And I can't do that if I'm not allowed to, pursue that.
I guess
So now we're talking about her credit card account getting in good standing. What it came to find out is she was behind. And she's talking about the late fees. Really, they should charge you late fees, but even in that amount that they said, that's still not even accounted for the late fees that they're trying to collect for.
been trying to figure out is here.
Being difficult.
So how much are you alleging that you're entitled to? Because this is obviously not like a repair claim. You're claiming that they charge you. So I got to ask counsel, since she's saying that they couldn't pay, were you ever given an opportunity? You guys sent her a 3-day notice?
Yes, Your Honor, a 3-day notice was sent.
Did you get a 3-day notice, Ms. Evans?
Yes, I got a 3-day notice.
Okay. And did you not pay that amount? What was the problem with that amount?
I was disputing the amount.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know you haven't paid. What's the amount that you're disputing? Or what amount are you claiming? Or what damages are you alleging specifically?
Yeah.
So the counterclaim had to do with services that they didn't render. Okay. I wasn't looking for money back. I wanted an adjustment made according to that. And then something I can give to my bank. And this is what I asked them before all of this was, can that last charge be reversed with something that says it was an error or something, so I can get back in good standing with my bank? And I never got a response from that.
Well, I'll be frank, I don't think the court can do that. And if there's I understand you're saying that they were ultimately charged and they weren't supposed to charge your card and you got late fees. Counsel, what's your position on that? I just want to make sure we flesh that out, because her position is that, she suffered other issues. You charged a card, she had other means of paying, and then ultimately she's got these late fees. Obviously, we only charge 10% of her the monthly rental value is tops. But even with that, I'll be frank, counsel, I just did 88 days, which is through the 14th of times the 57.99, and that's 5103.12. Now that doesn't obviously include any late fee, but that's how much I would have identified. How much in late fees did you have to pay, Ms. Evans?
At the beginning,
$1,650.
$1,600?
Yes.
No. I'm talking about from your bank.
Oh,
Yeah.
the total.
Oh, see, that's easy.
The total was I believe it was 135. And they weren't late fees. They were
overdraft fees.
Overdraft.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When that last charge came through, because it was already in the negative, they closed the account. And I was trying to work with them to pay the balance.
Yes.
And then that charge came through 6 days later. And so when that charge came through, they closed the account. So now I have that closed account with a negative.
Yeah.
And that's,
I understand. Well, counsel, do you have any response to her position?
Your Honor, I see that some late fees were charged over the course of time. The folio that I was provided, that dates back to March 27, 2025. As you said, you were coming up with the number 5,103.12, where the differences might lie, Your Honor, what I had mentioned to you earlier, that sometimes the amount changed. So for example, when she came to March 27th, the amount was 62.99. Then it dropped to 61.74 for a number of days. It went up incrementally and then dropped. So it's basically just what the daily rate is what she was charged.
I understand, because you guys are truthfully doing it like a hotel, like certain days are more.
It is a hotel. It's basically a hotel. So yeah, it fluctuates, and during the weekend, during the week it's cheaper. If there's a event in town, all type of things, it can fluctuate, which that's definitely fair. It looks like what the judge is going to look to do here is, since she keeps bringing up these overdraft fees or whatever, he can just easily deduct that from whatever the hotels are going to actually win, right? So if the hotels get $6,000 as the judgment and she's claiming $200 in overdraft fees, then he can just reward them $5,800, right? Easy fix. I'm assuming that's what he's trying to do, but let's just go ahead and see. And let's see if she'll be happy with that. Even though, funny enough, the math is crazy, because had she just taken the deal, she wouldn't have owed nothing.
More expensive than others. Saturdays and Sundays may be more expensive than Tuesdays and Wednesdays or something.
But they really do keep. I mean, there is most of the entire month of August is at the 57.99. Just some of the changes were in July, where it was 74.19. So if your number and my number's off, that's why, Your Honor.
All right. Well, Ms. Evans, I'll be honest. There's not, what you're telling me, it doesn't necessarily significantly alter what's going on. That counterclaim isn't for the $135 that you suffered, and what you're saying cost because they were charging another card on file, but at the time you
Let's
were also
address the
still past
services.
due, but you were disputing the late fees that they were applying to you. You know, like I said, the late fees that I would apply, if I applied them at all, would just be 10%.
10%.
Whatever
We should
agreement
be
that you
more.
have in the contract's one thing. But as far as a judgment, what we're going to approve is no more than 10% of whatever the monthly rental value is. But again, even that, unless counsel is looking for that amount, I've got 5103.12 through the 14th. So, Ms. Evans, I know you didn't want to do the consent. That's on you. But you're going to end up getting probably a judgment of about 5103.12 plus court
No,
costs.
don't
That's what's going to be
inform her
on you,
now.
because that's just the amount of money that is outstanding, regardless of these late fees.
Okay. So you're
Hello?
saying the
Oh.
the agreement would have been better, is what you're saying?
No, because I'm not saying that
Don't
at
tell
all,
her,
because
Judge.
I'm not your attorney, and I don't want you
Don't
thinking
tell
about what
her.
I'm saying, and I can't tell you that the agreement's still on the table. I'm just making a note that you're about to have a judgment for about 50-something, 5,000 and some
See,
change,
stop.
and a writ of
Stop leading the witness, Judge. We've already gone through this, and we've already started. So sometimes lessons just have to be learned. Don't let her escape the lesson, because she should have just came into this situation with good faith. It's pretty obvious what she should have did, but now we done got here now. She made the decision, the adult decision, which a lot of people make decisions and end up putting self-inflicted wounds on themselves, and then they want to come back later and act like it's life. No, this is entirely of your doing, and we just gonna have to let her just learn this lesson.
possession on the 14th.
She too old to still be learning these
Yes, Your Honor.
lessons.
Okay. In that regard,
So the judge, the
We're also, asking that the court dismiss her counterclaim because she didn't present any evidence. She's saying for services
Right.
rendered and these damages that weren't presented.
yeah, and I just want to confirm what services are in. I'm just, I just want to make sure that you're saying if there are services that you were saying weren't rendered, what services were those?
just the lunch, the fitness center, and the pest control. I mean, not lunch, the and he said it was a free service, so it doesn't matter. It was supposed to be a breakfast and then a fitness room, and they didn't do the pest control. But he said
Who did the pest control?
nobody did the pest control. I mean, I put spray in here myself. But he's saying that those services weren't they were free services, not really a part of the cost. So
They were complimentary.
I understand.
Your Honor, okay.
Go ahead, counsel.
Okay.
Your Honor, the manager's here to testify to it. Typically, I don't know about a grab-and-go breakfast and whether or not the workout room and all that kind of stuff, but if there's an issue, then it's either on a schedule, typically, with a vendor, and then if there's a problem, the tenant notifies the manager and it's taken care of. We're
I
just
did.
asking, Your Honor,
It's in the.
we're just
I'm
asking, Your
sorry.
Honor, for the 7 days writ of possession and a money judgment on the court's calculation and a dismissal of her counterclaim.
Okay. Well, I'm not necessarily going to dispute the counterclaim. There's not going to be any. There's nothing clear that is related to ultimately what's going on. I understand that they were charging, but that's a contract issue that ultimately leads to based upon a non-payment and then trying to get payment. I'm not going to charge you that crazy whatever the late fee, but I do have 88 days through the 14th of 5103.12. Now, if I apply a late fee, now obviously I'm not going to apply a late fee through October 14th because it's a daily rate and you can't pay, so it's kind of hard to say late fee when you can't even be able to pay that.
Yeah, if you're gonna do that counterclaim, you should have brought receipts. You should have been documented in real time. That's a lesson to be taken away. If ever a situation, because that could happen where you don't get certain services that you were promised. I think this is probably complimentary services, so it's kind of either or. But I would think complimentary actually means that it comes with it, though. But then that's the earnest is on you to record those things, record your interactions, maybe send an email. I didn't receive my breakfast today, so for that reason, I'm not doing XYZ. But I don't think she was documenting like that. So, and I don't even think that she brought it to court. She came to court with nothing, but like it's basically operating as if she's got all these options and like she's got all the cards.
That any other fee. So I've got it. You bear with me here. Jeez, hold on.
Maybe she just doesn't know
they
what
filed
she's
this action
doing.
on September 10th, and so based on that, it's going to be this. Hold on.
I feel kind of bad. Maybe she's just ignorant to what is going on, which it seems pretty obvious. But Now I kind of
Okay.
wish he can kind of go
Hello?
back and take the
Okay.
agreement, but he was being difficult.
All right, that money judgment's going to be for the following. It's going to be 542206, read on the 14th of October.
Oh man,
The
Rick.
counterclaims, obviously, I didn't find anything as far as a value to award in that. There didn't seem to be anything there. But of course, ma'am, you got 7 days appeal, but you will have to pay the $5,422.06 in the registry for you to do so. As far as monthly payment, if you were to do so, that balances out to be about $1739.70 a month. All right, I will get a copy of the order to you folks. You're both free to go.
Wow. That really went from 0 to 100 real quick. That is F around and find out. You can't make this up. She went from literally, they would have let her walk away scotch-free, just leave, to now she still has to leave because he said writ will go in the 14th. Writ, by writ, he means writ of eviction. And that is a document that goes in order to where they can come in 24 to 48 hours and remove you from the property and just start taking your stuff out. And you don't have any options. Everybody always acts surprised. And she's still going to be on the hook for about $5,500 that she has to pay them back. And I'll be curious if anyone in the comment section knows whether or not it's the same if you get evicted from like a hotel chain. And what I mean is the same. I'm asking, will she still get that eviction on her record? Because he said the writ will go in. So that's still going to be a writ of eviction. So will the eviction still flag on her record the same it would if she got evicted from a complex or a residential property? I'm curious about that. I don't really care to look it up that much, so that's why I'm saying if somebody knows in the comment section, let me know. But it's such an outlier situation. I highly doubt we'll ever run into another situation like this again. Typically, I'll look things up for future reference, but this is just such an anomaly of a case. I don't think it's worth it. So yeah, if anyone knows that, love to know. But we'll leave it there, y'all. If you could like the video, greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I'm a smaller content creator, it was designed for smaller content creators. So we get more points per hypes, and your hypes go further when you support smaller channels. And then also Patreon's link below if you want to see self-improvement content as well. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.